they're interrupting not just these kids' summer camp, but also, these people who are just helping people get healthcare who can't get it otherwise. I mean, it's so fucking stupid. This whole thing is just bullshit. Um, and so yeah, and it looks like it backfired on ICE a little bit, thankfully. Um, not just because Karen Bass showed up to shoo them away. Apparently, apparently, like one of these Gestapo freaks, handed her his phone so that she could talk with the head of Customs and Border Patrol, and she just told them to get the fuck out, and they just left. And but but aside from that, there was also protests outside the federal building following all this. And I'm not sure how big they got, but there were some protests. So I want to show you all a video of these protests real quick.
Hour right now, dozens of protesters are outside the Roy Ball Federal Building.
Yeah, this rally is still going on here at the Federal Building in downtown Los Angeles. You can see a group of about a few dozen people behind me. And then you may also be able to see some of the federal agents in front of the Federal Building. They've been out here as long as this rally has been taking place for just about a couple of hours now. There's not been any clashes. We haven't seen any clashes. Now, this is what it looked like earlier. It started around 4:30. It was organized by the Socialist Party and the Community Self-Defense Coalition. People here denouncing federal raids and celebrating those who have protested the raids. Take a listen as to what they had to say at a press conference earlier.
For 30 days, LA has been an occupied city. For 30 days, we have seen the troops deployed to Los Angeles, terrorize our communities, and humiliate Mexican Americans, immigrants, and anybody who is a friend, an ally, and member of this community. They have also terrorized black communities, Haitian immigrants, and Muslim immigrants as well, many others who are part of the fabric of this community. We will not let this stand, because for 30 days, Los Angeles has also sprung into resistance.
The demonstrators had a clear message. They are asking for the federal raids to stop and for the military to leave Los Angeles. Now, back here live, here's another look at the crowd. It was much bigger about an hour or so ago. It has thinned out considerably, but it has also been very peaceful. We haven't seen any clashes between protesters and law enforcement.
Yeah, there you have it. The people of LA are not, going quietly. They're not letting this stand. And yeah, good on them for standing up to the Gestapo. The mayor, Karen Bass of LA, has also released a speech along with some other community leaders in LA, and I want to show you guys some parts of this speech. So yeah.
And military troops in our communities, in our streets, conducting unconstitutional raids, roundups, and anonymous detentions, sowing fear and chaos among our residents. Just yesterday, there was an extraordinary escalation and an apparently completely performative show of force in MacArthur Park, not because of any criminal activity that warranted that kind of display of force. To the contrary, it was done cruelly at a time of day when the only activity going on in MacArthur Park was a summer camp for kids. And that's what the display was about. This seems to be designed to be aggressive, to instill fear, not responsive to respond to a threat. So we are here today because of the tactics and the disproportionate force being used by the federal government in our communities. They cannot become the new normal. This cannot become routine, to send militarized troops into our streets without reasonable suspicion, without probable cause, to round people up and take them away. These federal operations have already damaged the trust between law enforcement and our communities, our residents. We have been using every tool available in my office to fight back. Our communities will not continue to be abused in this manner. And with that, I'd like to take a moment to introduce my mayor, Karen Bass.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't want to say it's my pleasure to be here with you, because it's not. It seems like day after day we're up here saying the same thing. We are united with the other cities in the region, and by the way, that started from day one. When the first raids happened on June 6th, we immediately reached out to our colleagues in other cities, knowing that what was happening in LA would soon be in other cities as well. We wanted to make sure that we were all kind of on the same page. But what we have experienced over these last few weeks has just been shocking. As the city attorney mentioned yesterday, seeing troops, some on horseback, ride through a children's summer camp, traumatizing the kids, although we don't know if they actually knew. We hope they didn't, because they were ushered downstairs out of the public eye in order to be protected from their military. And I will tell you, I talked to one youngster, 8 years old, and just went up and talked to him, and he immediately started expressing the fears he has over ICE, unsolicited, and I don't think that he was aware of what happened. But you have a situation now where people are walking down the street, a car will pull up, no license plate, men will jump out completely masked, pull guns on whoever it is, and take them away. How do we know the difference between this and a kidnapping? And so it creates a public safety problem, because if individuals in the city, and this has already happened, call it up and report it as a kidnapping, then you have LAPD go out, and then you have a mess, which has happened several times, that once upon a time we had checks and balances in our country. Now I say, instead of 3 co-equal branches of the government, it seems as though we just have one branch of the government. So we will still go to for a remedy, as we are today. It is critical that we use every single venue, every single possibility of seeking justice, and that's what we're doing today. You see a city that is united, because this is who we are. We are a city of immigrants, and we will stand with Angelenos regardless of what country they came from, when they got here, or why they're here. And so with that, I am proud to stand in unity as we file this lawsuit and seek justice, and hopefully that will come in the form of an injunction. Thank you.
Yeah, so it looks like Karen Bass and the city of LA are going to sue the administration for overstepping their power. Yeah, for overreaching. I wish them the best with that. It's clear that the administration has been usurping powers that don't belong to them for a while, and have been just doing outright authoritarian and dictatorial things, and trying to crack down with an iron fist. So, and the problem too is that this isn't likely to stay in LA. This is very probably going to spread to other cities. I mean, Donald Trump put out that tweet a few weeks ago, right, where he said, he was talking about the Democratic power center, and all the urban cities being the Democratic power center, and how he wanted ICE to focus on them and stuff. He was basically declaring war on blue cities. And yeah, it's just absurd, everything that's going on with ICE. And I mean, it's such a waste of money, especially when they're not even going after criminals. They're just going after, people who are just working, who are just, living their lives, who aren't even a part of a gang or anything. And they're just, the absolute brutality of it all just makes it all feel awful. And, instead of, funding our schools, funding Medicare and Medicaid, where, all of a sudden ICE now has apparently the most funding out of any agency in the government now, which is absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. And I got another video here about that lawsuit that Mayor Bass is filing. I got a video here from the folks over at Midas Touch. They got an interview with her, it looks like. So here.
Just finished working with our city attorney to file a lawsuit, because we have to stop this mess. The idea of having troops go through the park and disrupt a children's summer camp, or drive through the streets and just pick people off the streets. We don't know if a kidnapping is happening or what. And so our city attorney is leading the way. We're filing a lawsuit We're calling for an injunction for this to stop. We need to remember who we are as a country. I'm very clear as to who we are as a city, and I'm clear about my job, which is to make sure that this city is safe for all Angelenos, regardless of when you came here, what country you came from, or why. We got to stop it. And I know, you know what? We're going to stand strong because this city is united. We are not divided, and we're not going to let anybody divide us.
So yeah, there you have it. Looks like they're gonna move forward with that lawsuit. And yeah, I wish them the best with it. Hopefully, it actually yields some sort of result. Because this administration doesn't like to play by the rules. They've made that perfectly clear. I mean, from arresting Senator Alex Padilla to, federalizing the National Guard without, the consent of Governor Gavin Newsom. I mean, and they've just been threatening with more and more arrests against judges too, political opponents, and even against Mayor Bass herself. Shortly after all of this happened at MacArthur Park, there was a threat of arrest against Mayor Karen Bass for standing up to ICE. So here I actually have a video of that too, and here, let me show it to y'all.
So what I saw in the park today looked like a city under siege, under armed occupation. And I have to tell you, spending many years traveling into conflict areas, it's the way a city looks before a coup.
That's how Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass described this scene yesterday at MacArthur Park, the heart of a largely immigrant neighborhood. Federal immigration agents, heavily armed and in military gear, descended in armored vehicles and on horseback to conduct a sweep, while a military-style helicopter circled overhead. It was a truly bizarre scene. And joining me now is Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. She previously represented the Los Angeles area as a Democratic congresswoman for 11 years. Mayor Bass, it's great to have you on. First, I guess I want to find out from you how you knew about what was happening there and if the federal government communicated you formally through any channels in any way.
No, there is no formal communication, and basically it's because the immigrant rights institutions in our city are very well organized. They have a rapid response network, and I get my news from them. So I was sitting in a room, and everybody's phones started blowing up, and that told me that the military had arrived in a park where nothing was happening, Chris. And to see the soldiers march through, they literally marched through the kids' summer camp.
Do you know that it was actual military? This is something that's been a little unclear in the reporting. Federal agents in camo or actually members of the Marines or National Guard that have been mobilized by the Trump administration. Do you know that for a fact?
No, and let me just tell you that is one of the mysteries of what is going on in our town. What I do know is that the Custom Border Patrol was definitely there. I have been told that the National Guards and the Marines were playing different roles, some on the periphery, but that we don't know that for sure. That is the problem. We have a lot of people who are not in uniform at all, wearing street clothes with vests, but the vests sometimes say nothing more than police, or it says nothing at all. Jumping out of unmarked cars with tinted windows, no license plate, wielding guns, pulling people off the street. That is the scene in LA right now. And it's shameful because we were not having problems before the first raid. The administration has brought deliberately chaos in a situation, chaos and fear, because people around the city now are afraid to go to work.
There's been a lot of invective hurled at you by federal spokespeople from the administration. I want to just give you a chance to respond to a few things. So one of them was the spokesperson of DHS had this to say about the possibility of arresting you. I'm not sure for what, but here's what she had to say.
When you have scenes like you did out in L.A. today, where you have the mayor, Karen Bass, interfering with official federal officer proceedings, trying to enforce the laws that are put on the books by members of duly elected members of Congress, are you all hesitant to just go out and arrest her, or has all of this behavior not reached that threshold yet?
We're certainly keeping everything on the table, Charlie.
Your reaction to that, Mayor?
Well, they're going to arrest me for doing my job. I mean, as mayor, my number one responsibility is to keep Angelenos safe. Now, it never dawned on me that I would have to worry about keeping Angelenos safe from my own government, from military that are supposed to be overseas fighting foreign enemies. This is an example of the federal government essentially seizing power from a governor, federalizing the National Guards, bringing them to Los Angeles when nobody asked for them. These are young women and men that have been pulled out of work. They've been pulled from their families. They've been pulled from school for an assignment that is basically, I don't know what this is other than a political stunt. I do feel like LA is a petri dish, and we are the experiment and basically sending the signal to the nation that this is what's coming your way. First LA, let's see who's next.
This is what the Customs Border Patrol sector chief had to say, basically telling you that, not quite it's my city now, but sort of that idea. Take a listen.
The federal government is not leaving LA. I don't work for Karen Bass. The federal government doesn't work for Karen Bass. We're going to be here till that mission's accomplished, as I said, and better get used to us now because this is going to be normal very soon.
What do you say to that?
I just have to say that I think that it's pathetic. I mean, last I checked, all of us work for the American people. And so, as I said, I am the duly elected official here to represent the city, and it is my job to protect the city. I was not interfering. It is my responsibility to ask, what are you doing here in this park where nothing is going on? Why are you grabbing people off the street, making a lot of people believe that kidnappings are taking place? We have whole sectors of the city now and the economy that has come to a halt. Our fashion district, 4,000 independent businesses, is a ghost town. We have restaurants and other places of work where the workforce is afraid to come in. Having restaurant owners tell me that this is worse than COVID. So this is damaging to our economy. It's damaging especially to the children. And this is all about a political stunt. And I think it's really sad to disrupt people's lives. We don't know where people are taken. We don't know if they're in the state. They have no contact with their families, no contact with lawyers. They're held in inhumane conditions. They're held in mass cells with 300 people in them, and that are designed for, maybe 30 or so, multiple beds. In the detention center where they're only supposed to be held for a day or less, and they've been held there for many days and in some cases weeks.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, I really appreciate you taking time to speak to us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Chris Hayes because I feel like he's one of the better voices on MSNBC, and I feel like he usually does a pretty good job with his reporting. Yeah, I mean, this is just all insanity. Mayor Bass is saying this looks like a city right before a coup, right? And what was Kristi Noem talking about right before they arrested Alex Padilla? Liberating LA and California, right? They've been talking about liberating California for a while. This looks like a fucking military occupation of California and LA. It's insane, right? This looks like the setup for a fucking civil war or some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just in LA. Hey everyone, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can make this channel grow. This has been Revolution Television, where the revolution is televised. Peace.